happy to be here with you today. We're just going to do a very simple mat class, just something to get your body moving and to be feeling better. So please join me on the mat. If you can, you don't need any equipment, but a little pillow or something that will just elevate your head would be a fantastic idea. So you're just going to come and lie down on your back. And then just very gently bring your heels in line with your sitting bones. Imagine that you've hung your knees over an imaginary washing line. You're going to have a little peg holding each kneecap in place. And just allow the fabric of your legs to drop down into the back of your hip sockets and down into your ankles. Then I want you to just check in with your ribs. Quite often when we first lie down, we might flare the ribs a little bit. Just allow those ribs to gently relax down into the mat. So just invite them to soften. Don't try and force. And then just make sure that your head is well supported. If the head isn't high enough, then your ribs might keep sticking up. So you can elevate your head just a little bit more to just encourage those ribs to fall down and give your abdominals and your breathing the best possible chance to work. Fantastic. So now you're just going to make a little triangle with your hands, and we're going to place it on the front of your pelvis. Your fingertips are on your pubic bone, the heels of your hands towards your hips. I want you to imagine that your pelvis is a bowl of water. And as you inhale, you're going to feel your ribs gently opening in all directions, and the water level in your pelvis might rise a little bit underneath your hands. And then as you exhale and your ribs gently come in, you're going to feel the water level of your abdominals just gently dropping. And inhale, expand the container of your body. And exhale and just feel how everything gently hugs in and connects into the center. Another deep inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. Good. Now I'd like you to back off on that deep breathing a little bit. Just reduce it so that it's just enough to get the movement done. So I'm going to start off with just a little reduced breathing here. Because if you keep breathing really deeply all the time, you won't be able to move very well. You'll be spending all your time breathing and waiting to move. And then when you feel like you've managed that, you're going to gently tip your hips backwards, flattening your lower spine into the floor. And then as you inhale, gently rock forward. Exhale and gently rock back. Feel your waist melting down towards the floor. And inhale, lengthening forward. Feeling the front body stretching, your low back overarching just a little bit. There shouldn't be any pain when you're doing this. So just moving in a range that's comfortable for you and just feeling how your lower spine can flex and extend. And then settle into the middle between those two extremes. Now bring the focus into the two hip bones. And I just want you to imagine that they're like a seesaw. So as you exhale, just let one hip get heavy. The other one's going to come up slightly, come back to the center, and then gently sink across to the other side. And inhale to come back to the center. As you exhale, gently sink one hip down. Inhale, come back to the center, and then exhale and sink the other hip down. And inhale to come back to the center. Seesaw your first hip down, making sure your legs don't move. Come back to the middle, and then seesaw the other hip down, and coming back to the middle. Good. Now we're going to increase that movement a little bit. So take one leg and place it behind the other. So you're going to turn it out. You're going to make sure your two ankles are connecting with each other. You're going to push them together, and then as you exhale, you're going to reach that top knee forward as you roll towards that seesaw side. And then you're going to slowly sink the thigh bone back down. So keep pressing the two ankles together as you reach forward and out, rotating your pelvis, and then slowly coming back and relaxing. Push the two together, reach up and over, and slowly coming back down. So we're just starting to free up the hip joint as well as the lower spine. We're also working those oblique abdominals. Getting a little bit more rotation movement going on in the body. and coming back. Good. Let's just compare the two sides. So I always like to do a bit of benchmarking. You can even straighten your legs out. And you might notice that you feel a little bit lopsided. I feel a lot lower on my right side after doing that. So let's come back and do the other side. You're just going to squeeze the two legs together. So at the ankles, obviously it needs to be comfortable, so don't be uncomfortable. Don't try and work too hard here. It's just enough to make that connection. Push the two together. Exhale as you reach. And then inhale as you gently come back down. And squeeze together, gently reach that top knee out, and inhale and gently come back. Squeeze the two together, lengthening that top knee away, and inhale to come back. And one more time, reaching out, and then coming back. Good. And then just again, take a moment to compare the two sides. Do you feel a bit longer on that side, or do you feel just even with both sides? I certainly feel a whole lot more even. I don't feel like I'm sloping off to one side. Right, so now we're just going to very gently start mobilizing that sciatic nerve, because we do quite a few exercises with the legs up in the air. So we just want to make sure that we're not sort of straining the hamstring. So you're going to pick your leg up, interlace your fingers behind the back of the leg, and just let your lower leg completely relax. And then drop the leg as far forward as it'll go, so that it's really being supported by your hands. Now this is quite a tricky one. It feels a little bit odd the first time you do it, but you're looking for a little twitch, and that tells you that the nerve has already started changing its length. So you're going to slowly start extending, and at some point you're going to get a little twitch, and then you're going to slowly come back down. And we're just going to do this 3 times. You don't want to overdo this. Yep. And then slowly come back down. So your twitch point might be at a completely different point to mine. And then once you reach your third one, you're going to flex and point 5 times. This is 2, 3, so make sure you're moving your ankle, 4, and 5. Good. And then you're just going to drop your leg down. Again, take a moment to compare. And you might even notice that that leg now feels a lot more relaxed. So something that you can do here as well is just do a gentle straight leg raise on each side and just compare the difference between the two. You might notice that the one that you've just released is slightly easier than the other one. So let's come on to the other side, interlacing your fingers behind the back of your leg. And you're just going to drop that leg as far forward as it will go, slowly extending the knee until you find a twitch point. And then come back, just keeping your ankle really relaxed as you're doing this. So you just want to nudge into that change in length of that sciatic nerve. Good. And then once you've reached your twitch point the 3rd time, flex and point 5 times. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lovely. And then just bring the leg down. Again, comparing the two sides. This comparison is really useful because it teaches your brain that what you've just done has actually made a change. So it's a really important lesson for your body to learn and for your brain to understand, is that even small movements can have a huge impact. And then you can just do your straight leg raise again and just see, well, that feels a whole lot easier for me. Good. All right, so now we're just going to sort of warm up the spine a little bit. Again, we're going to come back into that sort of drop tree position, holding onto the back of your leg. This time, you're going to keep pushing the leg forward, and you're just going to straighten your leg a little bit more. So until you find that little bit of tension coming on through the leg. Now, if you keep pushing the leg forward into your hands, what's going to happen is your head's going to come up. So just keep that connection there and slowly rolling up until you're sitting. And then you're going to slowly roll back down again. So just let your spine gently curve. And this time you're not going to go all the way down. So you're just going to stop in that sort of hammock shape. And then you're going to push the leg forward again. Now, if this is where you get to and you can't get any further, then just stay there and breathe. Don't try and force your way up. Gradually you will be able to come up A little bit further and a little bit further. Good. We're just going to do one more like that. This is a fantastic preparation for the exercise called roll up in our classic Pilates series. So now you're just going to gently relax down and again take a moment to compare the two sides. And that side should feel really long and loose and free. So let's come on to the other side. Again, let the leg drop nice and heavily into both your interlaced hands. Slowly extend the leg this time until you get a little bit of tension through the leg. And then you're going to push that leg forward to bring your head and shoulders up. Keep curving your spine as you curve forward. And then just keep that curve as you roll down. And you're just going to stop sort of mid-shoulder blade area as if you're in a little hammock. And slowly rolling up again. And slowly rolling down. Here the breathing doesn't matter so much. Just keep breathing. Keep inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Just in whatever rhythm feels comfortable for you. Good. When you've finished your last one, just relax your leg and put your head down. And again, just comparing the two sides. So now you should feel a little bit longer and looser through both sides. We're going to bend the legs back up again, finding your neutral position here. And now, without tipping your pelvis in any direction, we're just going to stabilize that and lift one leg up at a time. So you can put your hands back on the front of your pelvis if you like, but what I'd suggest is that you almost don't touch the fabric, so that if you feel your pelvis dropping, your hand is going to stay and you'll feel that moving away. So as you exhale, think of your abdominals just gently hugging in to keep the bowl of your pelvis in place, and then just float one leg up. And then inhale to come down. And exhale and float the other leg up. And inhale to come down. And exhale and float the first leg up. Inhale to come down. And exhale, float the second leg up. And inhale to come down. So I'm keeping my foot flexed here. It's up to you what you do. But if you really want to get a bit more support from the back of the leg, then it helps to flex the foot. If you point the toe, you're going to feel a little bit more in the front. So just do whatever feels comfortable for you. But I do suggest that you use the back of the leg a little bit more because the front's already working. Beautiful. Now we're just going to go into double hip flexion. So you're going to exhale, you're going to lift one leg, inhale, and then exhale to lift the second leg. So you should be able to do that without any strain or change. So strain in your low back or change in your pelvis. And then just place the feet down one at a time. Now we're going to start on the other side. So exhale, lift the first leg. Inhale, and then exhale to lift the second leg. Inhale, and then exhale, place one foot by the other down onto the ground. Let's do that again. Exhale, draw in the abdominals, lift the first leg. Inhale, and then exhale to lift the second leg. Now, I'd like you to just think about how those thigh bones are just gently sinking into the back of your hip socket. And now we're going to swivel in the hips. So you're going to find that external rotation and come back. So don't take the legs straight out because it'll just pull you over. You actually want to think of dialing the thigh bone out a little bit and then back. And again, it's only as far out as you don't move your pelvis. So we're just going to do one side. This is our fourth one. We're going to do 6 and 5 and 6. Good. Let's go on to the other side, swivel. So this is getting a little bit more challenging. Just check that you're keeping your rib cage nice and soft. It's quite hard work for your abdominals here. Just starting to warm them up to be able to support the limb as it moves around in space. And the last one, 6. And then just place your feet down one, followed by the other. Just place your feet and knees together. We're going to take the arms out to the side. And you're going to exhale and you're going to just gently let the knees rock over, keeping the opposite shoulder on the ground. Hold it there as you inhale. And then as you exhale, use that breath to pull your knees back to the center. Inhale and exhale to move over to the second side. Pause and inhale. And then exhale, use that energy to come back. Inhale at the top, exhale moving across. Inhale, exhale to come back to the center. Inhale, exhale over to the other side. Inhale and exhale to come back to the center. Good. Now we're just going to take your little pillow out because we're going to go into some bridges. We've warmed the hips up quite nicely, but now we want to start strengthening at the back of the hip here. So you're going to bring your arms down next to you, and you're going to imagine two crane hooks on your hips, and we're just going to come straight up and down. So it's a very simple hip hinge. Try not to let your lower back get involved. Okay, that will say for in a little while. So we're going to exhale, push your heels down, lengthen your knees forward to come up, and then inhale, just gently lower your pelvis straight back down. Exhale, lifting up, making sure that you're not overarching. Just keep your ribs nice and softly folding towards your pelvis, and inhale to come down. Really using the muscles at the back of the hip to elevate you, and then slowly release them to bring yourself down. Just check in with your feet. Have you got equal pressure through both feet, or are you relying on one side more than the other? Just do this one more time. Exhale to come up. This time you're going to pause and inhale, and now I want you to melt your spine down vertebra by vertebra. Now you can come into that sort of folded, flexed lower back before rocking back into your neutral. So we're going to exhale and lift straight up. Inhale and now drop down each vertebra from the center of your shoulder blades, slowly lengthening your pelvis away from your rib cage to come down. Just one more time. Exhale to come up, and just warming up the spinal segments all the way down until you find neutral. Good. Now we're going to articulate all the way up and all the way down. So you're going to gently rock backwards and then slowly peeling up vertebra by vertebra. Inhale at the top. And now slowly deflate your ribs, melting your spine down vertebra by vertebra into the mat. Inhale at the bottom, and then exhale and slowly rolling back up, making sure that you can work through each one of those segments. Inhale, and then exhale and slowly roll back down again, one vertebra at a time. Good. So you should have nice loosey-goosey hips and nice loose spine. Just bring your little pillow back underneath your head. And now we're just going to warm up the shoulders. So we're going to reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Have some nice open arms here and open hands. Don't let your arms get too close. So you want them just over the shoulder socket over here. Thumbs point to the wall behind you and little fingers point towards the wall in front. So as if you're holding onto a biggish ball. Now we're just going to slowly reach one arm up towards the ceiling. Feel how the other arm sinks, and then just use the exhalation breath to pull the arm back down into the shoulder socket. Inhale to reach up, as if it's filled, that arm is filling with bubbles, and then slowly deflate until you come back. Inhale, make a nice bubbly arm, and exhale, just a nice still water arm. Inhale, nice effervescent arm, and exhale to slowly sink back down. Good. Now that you can feel the width between your shoulder blades and the weight of your arm bone in your shoulder socket, just soften your elbows a little bit as if you're now holding a big beach ball just over your tummy. We're going to inhale, let your arms inflate outwards, and then exhale, slide the ribs down as the arms deflate back. Inhale to open to the sides, and exhale to slowly come back. And inhale, let your breath lead the movement here. Don't have a preconceived idea of how far the arms have to go. Just inhale to open and exhale to come back. Slowly extend your fingertips back up to the ceiling. Now you're going to use that exhalation breath and that sense of the rib cage sliding down to carry the weight of your arms overhead. And then inhale to come back. Exhale, slide the ribs down, let the thumb leads back towards the floor, and then inhale, let your little finger lead forward, and exhale, reach back. So only go as far as your ribs don't flare. So you want to keep your ribs slightly connected without using any force, and then slowly bring the arms forward. And then one more time, reaching the arms back, and inhale to come forward. Now you're just going to put your arms on the ground, palms up. And then you're going to keep thinking about those ribs sliding down towards your pelvis to provide a firm anchor for your arms to open sideways into angel wings, and then come down. And exhale, opening them sideways. So only go as high as you don't pop your ribs towards the ceiling. And inhale to come down. Remember to keep that movement soft and fluid. Don't brace. And inhale to come back. And one more time, exhale, just gently opening. And inhale to come back. Beautiful. Now just gently warming up the back of the neck. So you're going to exhale, nod the chin, and release. So just feel the back of the neck gently lengthening. Again, don't force your chin down. It's just a gentle sinking, and then just release. And a gentle sinking, and release. And one more time, sinking, and release. Good. Now interlacing your hands again, this time placing them behind your head. Make sure that your elbows are pointing at about 45-degree angle forward. You don't want to push the arms open, because otherwise you get really tight in the back of the neck and it forces the head forward. So create a little cradle for your head, and now you're going to use the breath to help you come up into an abdominal curl. So you're going to inhale, and now exhale. Make sure that your ribs are moving. So think of shrugging your shoulders down, and that's the reason your head is coming up off the floor just slightly. And then inhale and slowly come down. Try that again. Slide your ribs down as if you're shrugging your shoulders down gently to float the head up, and then come back down. So just check in with your pelvis on the next one. Make sure that it hasn't moved. So just imagine that you're just sinking that water level as you come up. You don't want to tip any of the water out of the bowl. And then inhale and come back. This time we're going to exhale, slide the ribs down, float the head up. Now you're going to stay there and inhale. As you exhale, lift one leg up, staying really stable, and inhale to come down. As you exhale, lift the other leg up. Inhale, bring that foot down, and then slowly release the head back onto the ground. Exhale, slide the armpits down, floating the head up. As you exhale again, lift one leg. Inhale, bring it down. Exhale again, lift the other leg. Inhale to come down, and then slowly soften your way back onto the pillow. One more time. This time we're going to lift both legs up. Remember, only moving one at a time. So exhale, slide the ribs down to come up. Hold it there as you inhale. Think of that water level dropping, lifting one leg, and then followed by the other leg. Leave the legs up there as you slowly lower your head down. Good. All right, so now the legs are up here. What we're going to do is the classic Pilates exercise, single leg stretch. So your arms are going to swap from one side to the other. So just practice that. Put the opposite hand on the inside of the knee, the hand on the leg that you're touching, the same leg, right down towards your foot. Obviously you can't reach there just yet because your head's still on the ground. And then just switch over, just getting used to how those arms are moving. Good. Now stop again on your first side, and you're going to exhale, slide your ribs down. This time you're going to push the one leg out, and you're just going to curl your way up. Come in, swap hands, and then push the other leg out. Inhale as you bring the leg in. Exhale as you lengthen out. Inhale to come in and swap. Exhale to push out. Inhale, come in and swap your hands. Exhale to push out. Bring both legs in, and then just roll back, hugging your knees into your chest. Good. So that was the slower version. We're going to do that again, and this time we're just going to do it a little bit faster. So just keep breathing through the motion. If you find that that's too hard for you, then I would rather that you just maybe lifted one leg at a time, keeping your abdominals engaged. All right. If you do find that your neck and shoulders are getting tired, just keep the head down and focus on how the ribs are moving and the abdominals are just gently hugging in. You don't necessarily have to lift your head. And if you have got osteoporosis, I'd like you to just keep lying down. Don't come up into the flexion. Okay. So we're going to exhale. You're going to lift one leg up. Inhale, exhale, lift the other leg up. Inhale, reaching for one leg. Exhale and extend out. And now we're going to swap, just breathing through the motion, making sure that you keep everything nice and level and calm, and just extending using the back of the hip as you extend out, using those abdominals. And we're just going to do 1, 2, 3, last one, 4, bending both knees and slowly coming down. Good, well done. You survived the abdominal exercises. Let's get you onto your side now. So you can still use your pillow here, just lying down, and you're going to place both hands on top of each other, and you're going to just bend your legs in front of you. Now it's really important here that the ribs are doing the work. So you're going to soften the ribs, and you're going to start letting the ribs rotate, following your hand with your eyes as you inhale to open like a book, and then exhale and slowly bring yourself back. So this is a lovely treat for all that hard abdominal work you just did. Just slowly opening and coming back. And again, just gentle rotation through the ribs. If the leg moves or comes up a little bit, that's okay. That's not a problem. I don't want you to crank into your lower back. I want you to just feel how your ribs can move to help open up your shoulders and your chest, and then slowly coming back in again. Now you're just going to support your head. Now if you've got your pillow, you can put your pillow in between your head and your hand. Take your top arm and you're going to put it in front of you, just pressing down into the ground a little bit. And we're going to do what I call cat stretches here. So you're going to draw your abdominals in, and you're going to lengthen those legs out, flexing through the ankles. Just get really long through the crown of your head, and then inhale and slowly soften back in. So this just is a lovely sort of waking up movement. You can do this in bed in the morning before you get out. It's if you watch an animal, they all stretch before they get up and start running around madly. So we could take a leaf out of their book and slowly coming back. And just one more time, lengthening out. You might even be able to feel your oblique abdominals working in here a little bit. This time, just lower the legs back down. Now I want you to think about where you're going to place your hips. So you don't want to have your hip hiked up towards your rib cage. Think of just reaching both your heels out towards the wall on the opposite end of the room that you're in, and just soften your ribs in so that they level with your hip bone. So that means that you've now got your abdominals engaged. You might even feel a little mouse hole underneath your waist. As you exhale, just think of those abdominals gently hugging in around your waist, and just float both legs up and then slowly lower down. So it's very small. It's just enough to make you feel these waist muscles activate. If you come up too high, you're going to start tipping your pelvis. Okay, that's a different story, and that's something else that we can do, but it's not what we're aiming for right here. And slowly come down. And again, drawing in the abdominals length away before we lift. And slowly come down. And one more time, draw in the abdominals, lengthen away to lift, and inhale to come down. And the last time, drawing in the abdominals, lengthen away to come up, and inhale to come down. Fantastic. All right, let's get you over onto the other side. So you can either turn over to face towards your back towards the camera, or towards your computer, or you can just turn around like I have and face me. So we're going to start off with the knees bent, hands out in front of you. Remember that you want to soften the ribs. So you want to draw those ribs in for that rotation. So you're going to draw the ribs in, slowly bring that arm up. You can follow your hand with your eyes, and then slowly coming back as you exhale. Inhale as you open, stretching the spaces between your ribs, and then exhale to come back. Inhale, feel that lovely rotation, and exhale to come back. So remember, the ribs are the leader here. You don't want to let your arm drop out of your shoulder socket, so just let the ribs lead and the arm will follow. And just one more delicious stretch for the upper back into that twist, and slowly coming back again. Good. Now let's just bring the hand underneath your pillow, and we're just going to do our little cat stretch. So from here, just think about drawing the abdominals in, keeping the ribs flush with your hip bone, and then just reach the heels across the room, lengthening through the crown of the head. Beautiful stretch for your body there. And then inhale and just softly come back. And exhale and reach away. Don't be afraid to use your top arm. That's quite okay. And then inhale to come back. Just make sure you're not arching your back. Think of drawing the abdominals back, lengthening out. Good. And inhale to come back. And one more time, reaching long. And then this time, just lower the legs and the head down, feeling nice and comfortable. Now you're going to make sure you keep yourself supported in the front. Send that top hip away so you can find this little mouse hole underneath your waist. Make sure your ribs aren't popping forward, just soften them back. And then as you exhale, go for length in order to come up, reaching your heels as far away as you can. And inhale to come down. Exhale, drawing the abdominals in, feeling your waist muscles gently tightening. And inhale to come down. Exhale, reach away to come up. And inhale to come down. And again, exhale, reach away to come up. And inhale to come down. And your last one, lengthen away. And inhale to come down. Well done. All right, so now we're just going to come up. We're going to do a lovely rotation exercise. So you're going to sit upright with your feet flexed at the ankles, and then you're going to gently let both hips rock over to one side. So your aim is to try and get both knees towards the floor, and then coming back up, and then slowly twist around to the other side. So I'll just do a couple like this. Just move that out the way. Coming around. You're just slowly releasing in your hip. Now, if you have had hip replacement, please don't do this exercise. This internal rotation is not a good movement for you. But as long as you haven't had a hip replacement, you should be safe to do this. So you are going to sort of butt crawl forward. You might just want to move back a little. I'm definitely going to. So your legs are basically just as wide as, a little bit wider than your mat, keeping your feet flexed because that helps you to drive at the hip. As soon as you relax your ankles, you're probably going to strain your knee or even into your hip. So this just helps to keep you connected. Now we're going to gently rock both legs over, and then you're just going to let your whole upper body come around. Let your eyes lead. You'll notice you'll go a little bit further, and then slowly unwind and come back. And we're going to go the other way, slowly coming around, and then coming back. So if you are stiff anywhere or feel a little bit restricted, as you do this, you should be able to notice that you're starting to loosen up. So this is a really delicious exercise just to get some movement throughout your entire body. Good, and let's come over the other way. Keeping that arm nice and low, trying not to squeeze your shoulders up towards your ears. Oh, that's fantastic, you guys. Well done. All right, we're going to get you to come into 4-point kneel now. Now, if you do have any sort of wrist issues or anything like that, then I suggest that you maybe do this with your forearms on a box or on a table. You can be doing all of these standing up or even onto a chair. If your wrists are okay, then we're just going to make sure that we really spread the hands out, keeping the hands ever so slightly in front of the shoulder, just to make it a bit easier for that arm bone to sink into your shoulder socket. Your knees are directly underneath your hips, and really tuck your toes under. Now in this position, it's very common for us to kind of sag. That could be an exercise in its own right, but we don't want the sag here. We want to keep pushing the floor away, and you want to keep a little hollow in your lower spine here. So if you do have a little ball, go ahead and put that little ball on your low back, just so that you can figure out whether you've got the right position or not. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to work on breathing. So just keep pushing away from the floor. Imagine there's sort of a pool of water underneath you, quite close to your body, and you don't want to sink your t-shirt into the water and get wet. So you're just going to breathe, allow your tummy to relax, and then exhale and slowly lift your tummy back up. And inhale, allow your tummy just to relax, and exhale, just let your tummy come up. So just take note that I'm not changing the shape of my spine. It's just that your tummy is lifting in towards your spine, but it's not going to change the shape just yet. One more time. Inhale, release your tummy, and exhale to gently lift. Now we can start changing the shape of the spine. So you're going to push your hands and your heels away from you to allow your spine to curve. Now pull your hands and your knees towards each other and lengthen back out into that long spine you just had. Exhale to curl, and inhale to lengthen. One more time. Exhale to curl, and inhale to lengthen. Now you're just going to lift one foot up. You're going to swivel out. You're going to look towards your foot. Your knee is still on the ground. Swivel the leg across the center line of the other leg and look over to the other side. Swivel the leg out towards the side, looking at your foot. And swivel the other way and looking again. Swivel to the first side, looking towards your foot. Swivel towards the other side. Good. Coming back to your center position, lift the other foot. Swivel it away from you, looking at your foot. Swivel it across and look. Swivel away and swivel across. One more time. Swivel away and swivel across. And then just sitting back into child's pose for a second. Right, so now you're going to take your forearm and you're going to put your elbow sort of in the space between your two knees. You're going to press the whole forearm down and put the other hand into your low back. Now from here, you're going to push the floor away with your forearm. So you're actually going to lift your body up slightly, but keep your elbow down. And then slowly twist and look towards me, if you've got that side, or look away from me if you've got the other hand behind your back. And then slowly coming back. And we're going to exhale, push the forearm down, and slowly twist and look up towards the ceiling. And inhale to come back. Just keep going with this exercise. We're doing about 3 more. This is fantastic if you've got that sort of discomfort between your shoulder blades or underneath your shoulder blade. This is a really nice way to get rid of that sort of pain underneath there. Good. And now let's come to the other side. Placing the forearm down, your elbow is in between your two knees. Other hand's in your lower back. You're going to push the forearm down and you're going to slowly twist and look up towards the ceiling and inhale to come down. Push the floor away, twist and look up towards the ceiling and inhale to come down. And again, push the floor away, twist and look up towards the ceiling, inhale to come down. And the last 2 coming up and coming down. Using your exhale, you'll feel your abdominals getting involved here and coming down. And then just settle into your child's pose again, taking a couple of nice breaths. And then just slowly uncurl your spine up into sitting. Well, thank you very much for joining me for that class today. I hope that you're feeling rejuvenated and re-energized, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.